This is Kawasaki's brand new ZX-10R Ninja. What an absolute beast. So let's see what this is like out on rural country roads, because that's exactly what this bike is designed for, right? No, but seriously, they are the roads I like to ride on, so let's see how it copes. So, here she is, yes. Superbike in every essence of the word. We've got a 998cc and 9.4, 200 horsepower, but with this rather large gaping hole at the front, 210 with a ram air. We've got Showa suspension, we've got Brembo monoblocks, we've got an Akrapovic end can, we've got this lovely Kawasaki racing green, and very aggressive front end. I like it a lot. Built-in aero as well. But enough waffle, let's go and ride it, because I'm too hot for all this nonsense. Whew. I'm absolutely sweating. It is boiling the bag down there. Okay, throwing my leg over this Superbike. 835mm seat height, or I think it's 32 or 33 inches. Very sporty position. And that inline 4 roars into life. It is a bit muted actually, even though it's got a Acra can, but let's get going because I need some airflow. Okay, so yeah, we have a 998cc and 9.4, making 200 horsepower and 114 newton meters of torque. It makes all of that up the top end. I think peak power is 13,000-ish RPM and peak torque is about 11.5. That is ridiculous. We've got Showa 43mm upside down forks. Oh my goodness. We're already going too quick. Oh dear. We're on gravity roads. This is maybe not the best use of this bike. However, suspension is lovely, but we'll get into that. So yes, Showa suspension up front, upside down forks, of course, fully adjustable. As you would imagine, it's got those sort of external cartridges on the side, which kind of remind me of those things that they took in the new Judge Dredd film to make everything go slowly. However, this thing will make things a blurry mess instead of slow and calm. Oh, we've got Brembo M50 monoblocks up front. Those are biting down onto, oh god, 330mm discs. And at the rear we have a single piston Nissin caliper, so Brembo up front, Nissin at the rear, party up front. Is this out back or something like that? I don't know what the flipping term is. Anyway, yeah, so that takes care of all your braking requirements, and a fast bike is going to need half decent brakes, and those Brembo M50s certainly do the job. We've got quite a lot of electronics, which we'll get into in a second. In terms of the chassis, I've mentioned the seat height at 835mm, or around about 33 inches. We've got a wet weight of 207 kilograms, or 456 pounds. Oh yes. And it's got a 17-litre fuel tank. I don't know how far you'd get out of that, if I'm honest with you. It all depends how you ride. I have just filled her up, so I can't really tell you. I've not done a full tank yet. We have a Landmaster thing in front of us, ruining our fun. Come on, Landmaster. You're the slow master. Goodbye. I'm sorry, Landmaster, but you were just far too slow. Yeah, we've got a ton of electronics. We've got a new TFT dash. We've got 6-axis IMU, which means lane sensitive wheelie control and ABS, but you've got a Kawasaki quick shifter, you've got riding modes, and the main riding modes are rain, road, sport, so nothing too exciting, but you do have a rider customizable mode where you can set all your bits and pieces up, of which there are many. You know, you've got lift control, you've got some kind of braking control, but I couldn't tell exactly what that was, what it did. You know, if you want to Google it, you can, but I'm out here riding a bike having fun. I want to tell you what the experience is like, which is the je ne sais quoi, the essence of what I do. Not always easy to convey how a bike rides, because a lot of it is very kind of emotive. But anyway, I will try my best. What else have we got? We got there is a app you can use. I don't really I don't really use the apps on these bikes. Oh my god! That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's very docile low down. Oh god, it handles so nicely. It's weird, it's not the quickest handling machine, but I do find it's so planted. And one thing I will say for the suspension on this, it is so supple. It's not crashy or racy at all. It's really good for the road. Even bumpy roads, it just flipping does a really good job of damping all the nastiness out, which is such a big surprise for essentially a road-based superbike. It's not like most sports bikes, which is overly crashy and very hard. Kawasaki seem to have thought about people who ride on the road, because I think, you know, let's be honest, that's going to be the majority of where these bikes spend their life. Not on track, they're going to be on the road. And I like that Kawasaki have realised that and actually catered to normal people. And boy, does this handle nicely. We'll talk about the engine in just a second. Woo. That's the thing with sports bikes, because they're so long, they do handle the wheelies quite well. The bike does take a little bit of convincing to get going. It's not the most eager down low, shall we say. It is very rev happy. You need to wind it on to get it going, or stay in a super low gear. Right, so we just jumped onto the motorway just for a bit. We'll get up into 6th gear, so we're at 70 miles an hour. We're just tickling 5,000 RPM, so it's not even getting into its stride yet. It redlines at 13,000 RPM, so you know it's got plenty left in the tank. Oh, suits you, sir. Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous how easy it is to go fast on this bike. When you get going, it's actually not too bad. It's quite comfy. You get a bit of wind resistance on your chest. That's not bad at all. I'm just ever so slightly dabbing the brakes there. You can just feel the power behind them. And they're not overly bitey, which I quite like. But you know, one finger is all you need. If you do put a bit of pressure into it, it will certainly stop very, very quickly. I mean, come on, Brembo M50s, that's not really surprising, is it? They are bloody awesome brakes. So let's talk about ergos now. Yeah, it's a sports bike, so you're leant right over. There's a lot of weight on your wrists. You're leant quite forward. There's going to be a bit of pain on your lower back. But once you get up to speed on the motorway, or you know, if you're in Europe and you can go a bit quicker without having to worry about getting arrested and sent to prison for the rest of your life, you might actually be able to use some of the power of this bike. But you do have to be careful, because this tend to fold you up in a bit of a origami kind of fashion. Throttle response is lovely and smooth, as you would expect from a Kawasaki. Got a nice induction noise as well, very raspy. But yeah, ergonomically I don't think there's much else to say. So handling wise, yeah, I mean, not the most, you do have to kind of manipulate it and manhandle it a little bit. It's not the most nimble machine out there. It is a little bit heavy. It's 207 kilos, 456 pounds. You do feel that a little bit. And I think it is just a thing of sports bike, because you don't have these wide bars with lots of leverage. It's a little bit more difficult to get them to tip in. I'm sure there's a technique for it that racers use, but certainly these bikes on track are the bike you want. Very confidence-inspiring through long sweeping bends, under power on the brakes, very stable. I've not ridden this on track, but I'm just giving you a generic sort of sports bike thing there. That's what I notice whenever I ride a sports bike versus a naked bike on track. But anyway, I'm digressing quite a bit. Yeah, on the road it's not the quickest steering. It does have a steering damper as standard, and it's an Öhlins steering damper as well. Not much to say about the rear, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that it's so good, I've not had to think about it. I've not had to think, oh my god, that's overly harsh or that's too soft. It just doesn't require any mental attention from me, and for me that is a fantastic thing. That means the bike is doing exactly what I want it to do. The front, I do feel that it's quite plush, planted and plush. I've said that a couple of times now in this video. Apologies, I do repeat myself, that's just the way I am, but you know, I'm sure you know that by now. But yeah, it is a surprise just how plush this is for the road. Oh yes! So I want to talk about the engine. It's like I said, it makes all its power at the top, so you do have to rev it to get the most out of it. But once you hit that, and I guess it is a bit like a power band, once you hit that power band, my god, just honestly, you're going to have to hang on for dear life. I would absolutely love to take one of these on track. I think it'd be an absolute weapon. If I'm honest, it's probably a bit too much even for me. I mean, that said, I've ridden an S1000RR on track, so I'd probably be alright. At a track I didn't know as well, and I had a great time. Yeah, once you open it up, that was in first gear. Whoa there. Yeah, you do notice it's quite takes quite a little bit of time to get going. So I'd say like 7,000 RPM is where it starts to pick up, starts to get quite aggressive. But it is still very fun. And that's the thing with biking, you know, even if this isn't your cup of tea, and it's not my cup of tea, I'll be honest, this sort of thing isn't really for me, but I love testing out bikes that aren't for me, because so often I've tried and found a bike that I like because I've been a bit open-minded and just thought, do you know what, I'm going to try that. I might not like it, but you only find out if you like something by trying it. Rear brake is a little bit meh, but I think it's because the bike's so new. I think it's only got about 300 miles on the clock. And before you jump in with all your comments about running in, if I had to do a run-in of this bike before I got to ride it, there would be absolutely no point in me reviewing it. That is all taken care of by Kawasaki before they put these bikes on the fleet. And then they just have a hard run-in, which is something I've done with all of my bikes, and not a single one of my bikes has ever blown up. But I'm sure I'll still have some comments. Oh my god, I can't believe you're blah 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 blah. Flipping heck, that is. You really do have to readjust just how quick bikes are when you ride these bikes and you give them a bit of beans at the top end, because that speedo, flipping, it's a blur. Not the band, although good band. Quick shift is okay. It's not the most amazing, but it is pretty good. It's quite stiff. I don't know whether or not that will just take a little bit of time to soften up a bit. Oh, I've got sweat dripping down my nose, which is lovely. Oh yeah, this is where it's at. Oh, those lovely sweeping corners, that's where you want to ride a bike like this. That's where this sort of thing is fun. It's not fun just doing slow speeds or really technical roads. It's fun when you can get it on a long sweeping bend, crank it over, and it just sits there. Oh, it looks a bit like Texas out here today. And for those who don't know, I'm not in Texas. There's a clue in my channel name. Yeah, that is ridiculously fun on the right roads, you know, and these aren't the right roads really. Not really. Oh, we'll have a quick walk around, and I need to give my back a little bit of a rest. Oh goodness, you are hunched over quite a bit. Okay, it's got the turning circle of the Titanic on a fat day. 2025 Kawasaki ZX-10R. I mean, just look at that. That is some angry eyeballs, isn't it? Yeah, so let's have a look. Tyres, we've got Bridgestone. What are they? Bridgestone RS11R. They seem pretty good. Lovely Kawasaki graphics. Green and white, that just looks so good, doesn't it? This has got the optional Acra system. It's not really that loud at all, it's very muted. I mean, it looks better than the standard one, but I dare say that's not that much louder than a standard can. There's your Brembo M50 monoblocks. And there's your Showa sort of external cartridge And this is for the compression and the rebound. And you've got preload at the top. Massive 330mm discs. Hidden in there somewhere is your 998cc inline 4 engine. 210 horsepower with ram air. That is just crazy. Oh, and 114mm. 114 newton meters of torque. Build quality actually is very high, I'd say, on this bike. Looks quite good. Good welds. You know what I'm like with a bit of welding. Let's have a look at the rear end. Not too bad. Not too bad. And let's go over the other side. You've got pillion pegs, but let's be honest. I mean, you'd have to be a mean person to get a pillion on the back. If you've taken a pillion on your ZX-10R, do comment below. Did they enjoy it, or did they hate you afterwards? There's your quick shifter, horizontally mounted shock back there. Again, Showa, fully adjustable shock as well. And it's horizontally mounted so that it gives it a bit more space. It's just quite efficient space-wise, because usually they're like that, aren't they? And this one's like that. 17-litre fuel tank. Now the dash of Kawasaki's is a little bit strange. It takes me a little while to get used to it. And there's the switchgear. You've got a button over here as well, which when you're going through the menu, let's see if I can give you an example of what I'm talking about before I do it. It's the select button over here. So that's what I mean. It's not, I'd say it's not very intuitive. Okay, so that's the select button, but this is the up and down button. And then you've got that to go into a menu and that button to come out of a menu. So it's not the most intuitive, having buttons all over the place, like on both switch gears. This button also does the day and night mode if you just tap it once, which, you know, don't know if that impresses you. It's handy, I guess. Cruise control as well, as standard. Dash, there's no fuel gauge either. However, what I do like, you see that little throttle gauge there? That's pretty cool. And then you've got a brake gauge as well, which is nifty, but I'd also like a fuel gauge, but it doesn't seem to have one. We do, however, have some trip meters, and it does show you how much fuel you've used in UK gallons. So if you work out the capacity of the tank in gallons, which I'll put on the screen there, that will tell you. So I guess it is a fuel gauge, just not traditional fuel gauge at all. It's strange, but I guess that works fine. It's an absolutely stunning looking bike. I don't think I've seen any of these out on the road. It just looks like he wants to kick you in the nuts, punch you in the face, and say, where's your mum? She puts up a better fight than you. It's that sort of bike. Sorry, Kawasaki. So I've got to try and sum up this bike in a few minutes of footage, essentially, which is going to be quite difficult because bikes like this are such a visceral experience that it's really difficult to convey, can't get my words out, what it's like to ride as a feeling. And what I would say to you is the best thing to do is go down to your dealer and have a ride on one yourself. Even if it's just for an hour, you'll get a taste of what this bike can do. Obviously you'll get nowhere near the performance, like no one can on the road. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. If you think you're getting to the limits of performance of this bike on the road, you are dreaming, sir or madam. Mostly sirs though. Yeah, to summarise, engine, you know, it does take a little while to get going, so it is actually fairly docile down low, but that does lull you into a false sense of security, because this bike is anything but sedate. When you get it north of like 6,000-7,000 RPM, flipping hell, you better hold on. It really is impressive just how aggressive that acceleration is at the top end. The suspension has been one of the biggest surprises because it's just so manageable on the road. I would expect a Superbike, and let's be under no illusions here, this is the Superbike. It is so plush and just easy to live with. Like, I've been riding on some pretty sketchy roads, like you wouldn't usually take a sporty bike on these sorts of roads. You'd want to go to the nice sweeping hills of wherever, not the UK, to get the most out of it. But I feel like because the suspension is so soft and it just looks after you, I appreciate that, Kawasaki. Obviously it is fully adjustable, so you can tighten it all up if you want to. But how it's been delivered, how it's come out of the crate, absolutely lovely. Love that. And throttle response is absolutely beautifully creamy. I said that word before, isn't it? Creamy. It does sound a bit wrong when you're talking about bikes. Brakes are phenomenal, as you would imagine. It's got a Brembo master cylinder as well, so you know it's not hampered by a shoddy master cylinder like some bikes are. It is the real deal. It is the full bore, full send package. You might, if you're a track day god, you might feel that this bike is a little bit too soft. I understand that, because you know, if a track day is very different to the road, but you can adjust it. I don't know how much you can adjust it, if even on the firmest settings. I don't know if that's enough for track day heroes or not. It's not something I'm going to find out today for sure. I would love to take one of these on track, so Kawasaki, if you fancy hooking me up, I would be much appreciative. There's the words, English. Negatives, yeah, so it's got all the downsides of a sports bike, right? It's not massively comfortable doing the low speed stuff. Oh god, I'm sweating like Jimmy Savile on Question Time. Oh my god. Sometimes that quick shifter does stick a bit. It's going down from second to first, it does get stuck a little bit. I would like a little fuel gauge. I think that would be a nice thing to have. Oh, that is just so fun. Oh yes. The noise from that engine, the induction noise, is so addictive. It's not a bike I would usually pick, just because I do think, you know, 200 horsepower bikes on the road are a little bit silly and kind of unusable. But you know, if you want to go out and buy a 1000cc sports bike, but you don't want to have ridiculously harsh suspension, this is the bike to get, because it's so manageable. If you want to see me ride some other litre sports bikes, like the new Fireblade, I've ridden the R1, I can do it again. Let me know down in the comments and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, essentially, fantastic power, fantastic handling, amazing suspension. Again, for the road, amazing brakes, usable power, but don't let that fool you. This thing is an absolute weapon. Yeah, it just handles like it's on bloody rails. It is incredible. Like I said, not the quickest steering bike in the world, but it is really, really planted. Brakes! Oh, good God! I feel like my testicles are now in my ears. Right, I think I'll end the video there before I get myself into too much trouble. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a waffly, rambly mess, but that's me. Right, if you do go out today, do ride safely, but remember to have fun, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? And until next time, you take care. Peace. I'm off to have some fun. Not with my bum.